It's almost irresponsible for me at this point to constantly assume that Pokemon Go is going to eventually fade out and not be popular because it just continues to succeed. It's been around for almost 8 years now. Niantic is the developer and publisher of it, and it's definitely making Pokemon as a series grow and expand and just live on in a new way. People continue to love this game, and with this love and continued success, Niantic continues to update the game, and that has included updates to include new Pokemon that have come out in the last 8 years through new Pokemon games and new generations. Now, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is the most recent Pokemon generation. That has actually been out for about a year and a half now. And I don't know if when a new generation comes out, I don't know if it takes Pokemon Go a while to add all of those Pokemon into the game. Maybe they do it through like several different content updates. I'm not exactly sure. But one of these new Pokemon in the new Pokemon generation is called Wiglett. It's basically like a white Diglett, kind of looks like a worm thing. So anyway, a couple weeks ago on April 22nd, Niantic updated the game to include Wiglett, and this actually led to a very interesting sort of way that players adapted to this edition of this Pokemon. So the whole thing with Pokemon Go, I'm sure you know, it's like an augmented reality game, and a lot of it depends on where in the world you are, like physically, literally in the world. I think it was this way when it came out in 2016, and I think it's still the same, where like different terrain, different landscapes that you're in does actually affect the Pokemon that you find. Well, with this Wiglett Pokemon, I guess it's a requirement that you have to be on an actual beach or a coastal setting in real life to obtain it. I don't know if this is the only way to obtain Wiglett, but it seems to be the most common, the easiest way to get it. But obviously in real life, not everybody lives close to a beach or close to an ocean. So what actually happened with these players that want to get Wiglett who aren't near a real life beach is that within the past week or two now, they have been going in and updating an online map database called OpenStreetMap. Now this is something that I'm reading is very close to Google Maps meets Wikipedia. Now, Niantic uses data from OpenStreetMap for their game, unlike probably the common misconception that they use Google Maps. So people have actually been going into OpenStreetMap who want this Wiglett Pokemon, and they've been adding beaches everywhere, specifically near them in real life. People have pointed out they don't live anywhere near a beach or an ocean, and all of a sudden on this OpenStreetMap database, there are beaches popping up near them. That way the game can recognize that, hey, you're on a beach biome in real life, so now it's easier to catch Wiglett. But the funny thing is that Niantic actually does not update, like in real time, their data for the game according to OpenStreetMap. So from what I'm reading, yeah, they update their game's map data pretty infrequently. So yeah, the funny thing is, so like one person that I'm seeing on Reddit pointed this out. They said that the people that are manipulating this map data are smart enough to actually go in and do this, but not smart enough, it would seem, to understand that this is basically going to be all for nothing. Niantic doesn't update their map data all the time, and by the time they probably do update the map data the next time, the incorrect data on OpenStreetMap will probably be scrubbed. Also, I am seeing that people are pointing out, apparently this is not the first time that stuff like this has happened when new Pokemon have came out. Yeah, stuff like this, I guess, is kind of common practice when there's like biome-specific Pokemon in Pokemon Go, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's especially just funny because the efforts are really all for nothing. It's not actually going to change anything. I don't know, I do remember like way back when Pokemon Go came out, there were these concerning reports that people would post up near these like specific locations in real life that you had to go to get like certain Pokemon or something, and unfortunately they would actually like burglarize or rob gamers that were going to these areas because, you know, they knew they'd be going to them. I mean, yeah, I just remember that. I mean, that was, you know, 8 years ago now, but it's just very interesting that with these augmented reality games, stuff like this can happen. Real life stuff or just stuff outside of the game can be changed, manipulated, or just messed with. I mean, the whole adding beaches incorrectly on an online database is obviously not nearly as bad as what I was talking about, you know, with people getting actually robbed. But still, it just goes to show that these augmented reality games, they're super interesting, super unique, and like I said, they have the potential to just change things that are outside of the game. But especially in this case, the efforts to change these things actually made no sense and actually were all for nothing.